Italian shit and everything. I miss things like that. I got a great, you know, pep.
Yeah, let's keep that. David, we love you! Guys, love! I love you!
Oh, man. That's awesome. This one's yours as well, huh? Yeah, it's a good show, right? Thanks for coming, man. I mean, I think it's great. This is one of my favorite cons, like, in the world. I mean, not that I've been to all the cons in the world, but definitely, like, New York is my home, so I love New York, and I love the fans here, and I love the fan interactions in general. Like, I think that's sort of part of the reason why I do it, is I love people that purely love these things. I mean, they can be sort of both things, like any great fan. Like, you go to a baseball game and you have great Yankees fans that'll yell at you too when you do, you know, because they're so invested and so nerded out on it. And but I like that. I mean, this can be a little overwhelming because there's just so many of us in one tiny place. But in general, like, I think the fans are terrific, and it's, you know, most of the reason why I do movies like this. It was really like into my 20s when I got to New York that friends of mine, kind of more arty friends, were into these graphic novels, and of which one of them was Hellboy. And I just remember being so struck by the art at first. Like, I think the art is so beautiful and so specific with its color and stuff. Like, you know, Hellboy is really one of the only red things in it. There's a lot of like blues and then yellow, occasional yellows, and it's grays and stuff, and it's so striking, the like art. And then, like, I also got into the guy and the story, and it's really, you know, I think it's a really fun, modern hero, in a sense. He's not a hero of the 50s like Captain America or something. I mean, he's not this hopeful hero. He's more of a hero for our time, which is, to me, like a more dark, more cynical time, in a sense. It's not like after the Great War. It's after, you know, Vietnam. I mean, it's after all these things that have been a little, you know, trickier for our culture and our society. So I really like that aspect of him, because I'm always drawn to more complicated characters. I find people that take simply heroic actions to be kind of like, I kind of tune out and I get annoyed. Whereas people that have complex things to deal with in themselves, I'm always drawn to, because, I mean, maybe that's just because I feel like that about myself. So I loved her. I didn't know anything about what to expect. You know what I mean? Like, I had known her from movies, from Fifth Element, and from like Resident Evil and all these franchises, and she seems to me such a powerful, strong woman in a certain way that I was like a little worried, to be honest. And then upon meeting her, she is such a pro, and she just knows how to make a movie. And people like that, apart from your talent at acting and all that stuff, if you're there to make a movie and to get the shots that you need and really love the whole project as opposed to just your part in it, that to me is the level of love that I like really enjoy. A type of person like that. Like, she's really invested in the whole, and that's like a wonderful, beautiful thing.
Dude, this is like amazing. It's kind of everything you dream of. You put so much into a film and so much into a project, and then to actually be able to like interact with people who just have a love for what it is and what you're gonna bring to it. It's kind of like the coolest thing and kind of what you would want, you know, instead of just like, all right, we're done. This is beautiful, yeah. I love that, you know, she's not the love interest in this one. She is just her own person, and she's strong. And she also, between her and Hellboy, you know, they kind of give each other something that says, like, you're not alone, and we can do this. And I feel like it's something that my sisters can watch, and I can feel proud that I know my sister is watching a character like Alice. Just moodiness and like the darkness of it, and just there's a lot of energy with it, you know? I feel like they're really going to get Hellboy.
I can hear him kind of cheering already. It's going to be exciting. It's the first time we're doing anything for Hellboy. I love the fact that he's an Asian American man on screen in a comic book setting. It's one of the first times, and it was a good group and a lot of fun to play.
It's great. This obviously is very different than my usual interaction. Usually I'm on the floor and you know, talking to people one-on-one. But something like this, you know, you never get used to, you know, being here promoting the movie and all that. That's a bit surreal. The producers have been working like dogs for years to try to get another Hellboy movie going. And when they came to me saying, okay, now we know what we want to do, they had picked this story. And quite frankly, it caught me by surprise, because it is really in the middle of the whole Hellboy story. But it took me a while to realize it was a great place to start, to give it a different tone than the previous films. And, you know, we avoid just kind of retelling a story that's already been told. So we jump in the middle, but we worked on it quite a lot so that it felt natural that we could also include his origin and all that stuff. But it starts in a different place, which gives it its own tone. It's not my job to talk to the actors about what things should be or shouldn't be. We did have some conversations. We texted back and forth a lot, but it was like weird things like, you know, what kind of animal were you thinking of when you created Hellboy? Like, I don't know, I never thought about that. So, you know, we ended up talking late one night about the way I grew up and my brothers. God knows, it was one of those things you get off the phone and you go, oh, shit, I hope I didn't derail his performance by telling him too many, you know, personal anecdotes. But no, he made it. He made it his, and it's exciting to watch. A great festival of monsters, a darker Hellboy film than they've seen before, but in a lot of ways much closer to my material. I'm thrilled. I mean, it's the first time I can say, I wasn't on set a lot, but there's at least one scene, probably more than one scene, but one scene I saw where I went, holy shit, that's the comic. And I could never really say that about the other films, nothing against the other films, but there's stuff in this one that walked right out of the comic. So that's pretty exciting to me.
Okay, I'll be there in a second.
Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2.